I'm going to enjoy a trip with my friends using your card. Suddenly, Brian called me. I had noticed he'd been coming home late and chatting with Nicole, acting strange. Was he planning something with her all along? I suspected they teamed up for a scheme. But thankfully, I was prepared. Maybe I should act surprised. Oh, really? Explain. I already knew Brian was leaving for a trip today. It's unbelievable if he's trying to trick me. I have been patient until now, but today I felt the urge to get back at him. It's time to fight back against those annoying siblings. Once today is over, everything will clear up. I hope they're having fun on their trip, unaware that someone in their group is on my side. My name is Pamela Smith, and I'm 33, living with my husband Brian. After high school, I started working at my current company, gained experience, and got certifications. Being valued for certifications and my track record, I got a lead position at 21. Even though I'm younger than Brian, I'm his superior at work. I trained him and two others. Brian joined the company a bit later, and despite being close in age, I became his supervisor. We started dating, and our relationship became typical. After moving in together, I noticed Brian's sloppiness. We got engaged, and Brian proposed that I become a stay-at-home wife. He had a dream of me handling the house, and he wanted kids soon. I expressed concerns about finances and not quitting my job even after having kids. I understand the idea of buying a house, but it bothers me that you earn more than me. Still, I want our house. I was thinking of getting one right after our wedding, but that might be tough. Since I already earn more, how about we manage the wedding and the house for now and think about kids later? We can decide what to do about my job then. All right, let's do that. Honestly, I didn't want to quit my job, but I felt like suggesting this. Otherwise, Brian might keep demanding. Before our wedding, we had an engagement party with both families. Brian's sister Nicole was away on a trip, so I met her for the first time at the wedding. She entered the waiting room without knocking, looked me up and down, and said, "So this is who Brian chose. A bit plain compared to his past choices, huh? I'm Pamela. Nice to meet you, Nicole." She waved her hand and left the room, leaving me stunned by her upfront attitude. Turns out, this sister-in-law is quite the character. Later, I greeted my sister-in-law's husband, and he seemed like a decent guy. The ceremony went smoothly, and after touring our new home, Brian and I bought the house we both liked. I thought things would get busy, so I put more energy into my work. On a seemingly ordinary day off, the doorbell suddenly rang. Since I was occupied, Brian answered it. He came back chatting and laughing. It turned out my sister-in-law had dropped by. "Hey there, Pamela. Brian's doing pretty well, huh? Owning such a big house. Good for him. After all, he's my little brother, right? I've been working hard. Make yourself at home, Pamela. Don't we have some snacks or something? My sister's here, so hurry up." I felt something was off with Brian's behavior. He started acting all high and mighty because his sister was here, probably telling her he bought the house himself. I chipped in for the down payment and contributed to paying the mortgage, but Brian really wanted his name on the title. Despite us living together, I thought it didn't matter whose name was on it. However, the way he explained it to his sister bothered me. I decided not to make a scene and held my tongue. "Here's some snacks. Brian works really hard, you know." Why does Pamela sound so bossy? Well, I am Brian's supervisor at work. Oh, did I not mention that? When I started the job, Pamela was already a manager. She began working right after dropping out of high school. It couldn't be helped. If it were me, I'd surpass her in no time. "Wait, you dropped out of high school? You look serious, yet you're less accomplished than me. Is there a problem?" "Not really, but since you didn't graduate, and I'm your sister-in-law, I can ask you for anything, right?" "That's true, Pamela. Whatever my sister says is the final word. If you refuse, I'll kick you out of the house." I struggled to understand what this sibling pair was talking about. What's the point? She can ask me for anything because I don't have a high school diploma. And if I don't listen, I'll be kicked out of the house. What kind of nonsense is this? I gave a polite smile and quickly escaped to the kitchen. From the kitchen, I could hear Brian's voice, and they seemed serious about their earlier conversation. After their talk, my sister-in-law came into the kitchen. "Hey, Pamela, I've got a favor to ask." "What's up?" "I kinda need to borrow a little money, like $5,000, please." "How is that a little money? That's a lot." "What do you need it for anyway? Come on, it's just $5,000. You're a supervisor, right? You must have a good salary." "Oh, right, I needed to cover the remaining renovation costs." "Didn't you just brag about your new condo?" "The other day, Brian told me to hand over some money. He claimed he'd lend it to his sister, Nicole, and said I should ask you." "Why would he decide that without asking me?" "Listen, Pamela, either give me the money, or I'll call the boss right now and tell them you want to quit. Which one do you prefer?" All right, Nicole, I'll lend you the money, but on one condition. We need to draw up a promissory note. Even though we're family, I want it in writing. So when you come to get the money, make sure to bring your ID with a picture, okay?" "Oh, such a hassle, but fine. If you're going to give me the money, I'll be over tomorrow night." So I decided to lend my sister-in-law the money. I had this gut feeling that getting her to sign a promissory note was essential. Even though Nicole grumbled, she did bring everything I asked for the next day. But seriously, I never knew how much Brian was spoiled by his sister until we got married. It's just ridiculous. I bet no matter what I said, it wouldn't have made a difference. Later on, I found out Nicole used the money to buy designer stuff. Once I lent her money, she kept asking for more without any hesitation. Of course, I made her sign a note every single time. In a month, she had borrowed about $12,000 from me. Just when I thought this was becoming too much, I got called into the boss's office. Turns out, they wanted to promote me from a supervisor to a manager. I was over the moon, excited to share the good news with Brian, who had taken the day off. "I'm home, Brian. Guess what?" "Welcome back, Pamela. You seem really excited. What happened today?" "My boss called me in, and guess what? He asked me if I wanted to be the department manager. My goal has always been to become the head manager, so I'm super excited that I'm getting closer to it." "Huh. Wait. What, Pamela? You're getting promoted? I don't get it. Did you accept the offer?" "Well, yeah, I've told you about my goal before, right?" "Hold on, you should have asked for my permission before making such a decision. Plus, I've told you I wanted you to be a stay-at-home wife, haven't I? How come you're getting promoted and I'm still stuck at the same position? Doesn't that seem odd?" "That's not my fault. I've made it clear that I don't want to quit my job. Why you can't get promoted is beyond me." Shortly after, Brian made a call, and I assumed it was to his older sister. Sure enough, a few minutes later, his sister arrived. "Hey, I heard you stole Brian's promotion opportunity. What's the big idea?" "No, I didn't steal anything. At our company, promotions are based on performance." "So you're saying Brian's incompetent at his job? How dare you look down on him? As his wife, this is ridiculous. Let's go grab some barbecue on her dime." They rummaged through my purse and took my bank card. I tried to resist, but they were 2 against 1, and I ended up being restrained. The two of them left, laughing, and tears welled up in my eyes. I shouldn't have married such a man. It's too late for regrets. I need to find a good divorce lawyer. That night, Brian didn't come home. The next day when I went to work, Brian had already arrived and came up to me with a smug look, saying, "Yesterday was a blast. Eating on someone else's dime is the best. Thanks for the treat." When he handed me the receipt, I saw he'd been to an upscale barbecue restaurant, and the bill was $1,200. There were also receipts from luxurious bars that totaled an unbelievable $6,000. I wanted to snap back, but more and more employees were coming in, so I held my tongue. On my way home, I checked how much was withdrawn from the bank, and to my shock, it was $8,000. I confronted him when I got back. "Brian, what were you thinking, taking out $8,000 for fancy barbecue and luxurious bars?" "It's my money, and it's what I had saved from my single days. I just got home, And you're nagging me about money from your single days. Don't know, don't care, can't do anything about it now since I've already spent it. He said that and ran into the bathroom. That's it. I'm definitely going to divorce him. I went to see a lawyer over the weekend. Several weeks have passed since then, and the preparations for the divorce are progressing steadily. Ever since that incident, Brian has been coming home late, and he leaves the house in a hurry on his days off. I was getting suspicious and thought about hiring a private investigator when I got a call from Kevin, my sister-in-law Nicole's husband. Hello, is this Pamela's number? Yes, Kevin, it's rare to hear from you. Yeah, it's been a while. Anyway, is my wife there, Nicole? No, she's not here. I see. She's been coming home late and leaving without telling me. On weekends, she said she was at Brian's place when I asked her yesterday. Oh, I see. Brian's been acting the same way. Maybe they're both going somewhere together. It's none of my business anymore, so I don't really care. Oh, and Kevin, I had something to tell you as well. Can you hear me out? None of your business anymore. What do you mean? All right, go ahead. I told him everything that happened about the money I lent to my sister-in-law and everything else. Upon hearing this, Kevin sighed and said, Is that so? I'm sorry about my wife. To be honest, I've been at my breaking point and considered getting a divorce, but I just couldn't take action. Why not use the evidence I've gathered, Kevin? You should get a divorce too. It's not fair for you to be in this situation. Let's give those selfish siblings who spend money recklessly a taste of their own medicine. Yeah, let's work together on this. Oh, by the way, I think Nicole and the others might be planning a trip. He mentioned that she had urged him to take a long vacation, and there were travel brochures on Pamela's vanity. Curious, I decided to look inside the shelf that Brian had always told me not to touch. Sure enough, I found travel brochures and club cards. That's when it clicked for me. Kevin, I think they might really be planning a trip. I found some brochures. I've got an idea. As I explained the plan, Kevin laughed and agreed to go along with it. We decided to coordinate further via text and ended the call. I also sent him some potential evidence that could be beneficial for the divorce and meticulously planned our next steps. 2 weeks later, early one morning, Brian left the house. I knew about it since Kevin had informed me the day before. A few hours later, Brian called. I'm going to have a blast on your card with my sis and friends. He had been coming home late and sneakily making calls with Nicole. I had sensed something was off. I suspected they were up to something. Good thing I had prepared. Maybe I should act surprised. Mine? What? What do you mean? Explain. Seriously, you didn't notice. We planned this trip ages ago. Kevin was just our backup plan in case something happened. We felt you've been getting too arrogant lately and talked about teaching you a lesson. Got it? Now you can't stand up to us anymore. I don't have to tolerate this any longer. I've been patient for so long. A little payback isn't too much to ask for. I don't feel anything anymore, not even a shred of emotion. Brian, what did you say earlier? I told you about your debit card, right? Huh? I have my card in my wallet, though. What? What are you talking about? Because here it is. Wait, what the heck is this? You just noticed? Slow on the uptake, huh? Didn't you take my old gym membership card from the fitness club I used to go to? It's the same color and same stiffness. Oh my God, it does say fitness club. But I swear when I checked it, it was definitely a debit card. Are you sure you didn't just mix them up? Hey, I heard everything because you're on speaker. What's going on? Brian brought a fitness membership card. I'm sure I saw my debit card. Ah, so it was a scheme by Nicole and Brian, huh? I'm so disappointed. Actually, last night I switched the debit card with the membership card. Seems like you didn't check this morning and just went with it. What? Dude, what the heck are you playing at? No, I should be the one asking that, Brian. Tough break, huh? Don't get too cocky just because you're my stepsister. Got it? You'll remember this when we get back. I've got gifts waiting for both of you when you come back. You trying to bribe us? I won't accept anything but cash. Well, we'll see about that. Look forward to it. That's beside the point. What should we do now? Oh, Pamela, can you send me some money? I hung up the phone. I didn't need to hear any more. Then I got a message from Brian saying, "You better send it, okay? Or worst case scenario, we still have Kevin here, you know." I simply replied with, "Is that so?" and went back to sleep. I was woken up by the ring of my phone in the afternoon. Looking at the screen, there were an incredible number of missed calls and messages. First, I called my brother-in-law and then answered Brian's call. "Hey, finally send the money ASAP, please. It's so cold. I think I'm gonna freeze." The reason they're cold is because they're in Alaska. Considering it's February, you can imagine it must be freezing if Brian and his group are saying they're cold. Seems like my plan worked. Really? You said Kevin would help, right? Or is he not there? What do you know something? Anyway, it's freezing and Kevin's not here. Should I clue you in? Since you and Nickel teamed up, Kevin and I did too. Simple, right? Now do you get why I entertained you guys for so long on that first call? To buy time, and Kevin, he hopped on another plane and is coming back here. I hung up once I got word he boarded the plane. Got it? What's your deal with my husband, huh? Don't tell me you're wrong. We teamed up to get back at you. Now find your own way back. See you. And with that, I hung up. Kevin should be arriving here soon. I decided to call in my lawyer. We had our final meeting regarding the divorce before Brian and the others would return. Why did I gather everyone here? I was sure Brian and the group would confront me. A few hours later, as soon as Brian and his group returned, they started yelling. "Pamela? Hey, what the hell? What were you thinking? Be prepared to move out, okay? Kevin's with you, isn't he? Why did you even come back first? Unbelievable. You okay with me leaving? You apologize. Shut it. Sit down." Usually calm Kevin's shouting stunned Brian and his companion, making them sit down right away. The lawyer promptly handed out his business cards to both of them. Both looked dumbfounded as they stared at the cards. "Well, here's a gift from us." Kevin and I handed them a stack of papers. As they read through them, their faces turned pale. "Wait a minute. This mentions property division. You're not saying it's about divorce, are you?" "It's written on mine too. It's a divorce. What did I do? Divorce has got to be a joke, right?" "Yeah, right. Kevin, let's head home." "I'll go first. I've been recording your daily outbursts. After some time, even the call you made from your vacation, Brian, you don't even know what you did. I can't continue like this with you." "Hold on, are you sure? I said it, didn't I? I'm demanding half of the down payment from when we bought the house, the rest of the mortgage, and the repayment of the savings you spent from when I was single." "Nickel, you spent the money you borrowed from me, and also withdrew from my savings with Brian, right? You're gonna repay that." "No, wait, Brian. Didn't you buy this house? And I never borrowed or used any of it." "That's a false accusation, Nickel. Please go through everything. There's a promissory note in there for the amount you've borrowed so far." "No way. I don't know anything about this. If there's no proof, I'll do this with this scrap of paper. And me too. Hand over that recorder." Brian stomped on the recorder. Nickel tore the paper into pieces and threw it away. And then the two of them looked at us with smug expressions. "Look here. First of all, Brian, even if you do that, there's still data on the computer. And Nickel, that wasn't the original document. What the hell are you two doing? Oops, indeed. You two don't think things through. Nickel, I have a claim against you too, spending all the savings and such, and say hi to that guy you got close to at the bar." Both of them were shamelessly crying on the spot. The amount I billed Brian was a total of $115,000, $5,000 for emotional damages, $100,000 for the down payment on the house, and $10,000 for miscellaneous expenses. In addition, there's an upcoming loan repayment of $2,000. For the bill from me to Nicole, it amounted to $31,000, $8,000 for miscellaneous expenses, and $23,000 for a loan for which she signed a promissory note. As for the amount billed from Kevin to Nicole, since she had been intentionally distressing him and spending money, it came to and $20,000, $30,000 for emotional damages, and $90,000 for miscellaneous expenses, all without any division of assets like condos. I thought the two of them might sue since they weren't the sharpest tools in the shed, but thanks to our attorney who wrote at the end of the paperwork, "If you sue, you're gonna lose for sure. No one's gonna represent you. It'll just cost you more. Work hard on your repayments." We settled it without going to court. I grabbed my packed belongings and left the house. Somehow, the word got out at my office, and he was transferred to another branch. Only a few weeks had passed when I got a message from Brian. "Pamela, I want to see you. I never thought life without you would be this lonely. Can we give it another shot? You can work as much as you want. It's not going to happen. Goodbye, Pamela. It's Nicole. I think you should reconsider things with my brother. Why don't we live together? Maybe there's been some misunderstanding between us. I believe things will be better. Nicole, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. Goodbye." They begged, but I ignored them and blocked their contacts. It seems Kevin got a similar call but turned it down and blocked them too. Sometime later, when I passed by my old house in a taxi, I saw it was already up for sale. Since the repayment was done in one go, and I'd blocked all communications, I have no idea how they're doing now. As for me, I moved out and bought a condo. Work's been going well, and my boss recently told me that I've been promoted to regional director, a position I've always aimed for. I've also been out to eat with Kevin a few times. He's a bit older, but we click, and our conversations flow easily. Things feel just right now between us, and we think alike. Life's been good since the divorce. I'm glad I got divorced. What happened between me and Kevin after that is a story for another time. Sophia will recount how I took control of my life and put a stop to my husband Xander's destructive influence. For privacy reasons, I'll be using pseudonyms. As a prominent lawyer in my state, anonymity is crucial for various reasons. Let's not delve into the intricacies of my and Xander's love story. We fell in love, got married, and eventually divorced. The love, it seemed, wasn't reciprocal, as Xander cheated on me. The signs were apparent: avoidance, excessive time outside, and frequent business trips, though I wasn't involved in his sizable business. Despite my success as a lawyer, Xander considered me a failure due to earning less than him. One day, during another one of his supposed business trips, I decided to investigate. I discovered a secret Facebook account on his old laptop, confirming my suspicions. He was cheating with a beautiful woman, someone he found more attractive than me, often criticizing my appearance. Heartbroken and angered, I confronted him immediately. "Sandra, are you cheating on me?" "I have proof," I declared. Xander callously responded, "Sophia, you're just not that interesting anymore. You're always engrossed in pointless cases, neglecting me. Besides, you're not a supermodel who can captivate me with looks alone." Confused, I retorted, "What are you talking about, Xander? I have a demanding job, and you knew that when we got married. I haven't neglected you. It's you who stopped coming home and refused to communicate." And that's how I discovered Xander's affair when I finally decided to confront him. I anticipated a degree of remorse from him, but the cold response I received caught me off guard. He shifted all the blame onto me, justifying his cheating, a claim that held no validity. Refusing to be falsely accused, I pointed out the flaws in his accusations. Instead of defending his position, he turned cold once more and nonchalantly revealed that he was relieved I had discovered his affair. In a chilling tone, Xander declared, "Good that you found out, Sophia. I no longer have to hide my beautiful girlfriend. She and I will have a perfect life together after I divorce your useless self. Finally, I will marry someone who's worthy of me and my name." His words hit me like a ton of bricks, sending a cold shiver down my spine. As he spoke of divorce, he not only insulted me but also asserted that I was not good enough for him. Accusing me of being a bad wife, he showed no remorse for his affair and even boasted about how a mistress would make a better spouse. Tears streamed down my face as he demeaned me, proclaiming his affair with pride. This was the man I had loved for over a decade, and his words left me shattered. Through my tears, I asked, "How could you say that, Xander? All these years, I've been beside you through thick and thin, honoring my vows and valuing you above all else." His callous response cut deep, dismissing my worth. "Well, Sophia, it doesn't matter anymore. You're just not right for me. I'm now a proud business owner, and a woman with average looks and a pretentious law degree won't do me any good." Feeling utterly demeaned, I protested. "How could you, Xander? I'm a capable woman, even if I don't fit your narrow definition of beauty. I've been a good wife to you, and now you're contemplating divorce." Correcting me, he stated coldly, "I'm not contemplating divorce, Sophia. I've already decided to divorce you. I'm done. I don't want to be with you anymore. I will file soon and have already hired a great lawyer. You better move out before I come home. I don't want to see your ugly face anymore." A few hours after Xander hung up on me, he sent the divorce papers through a friend who looked at me sympathetically. I numbly accepted the papers, shut the door, and cried miserably, letting the reality of my wasted years with a horrible man sink in. However, I decided I wouldn't let this break me. I was a strong woman who would take control of her life and teach Xander a lesson. When Xander's friend delivered the papers, he mentioned that Xander had talked about drawing out the divorce. Initially puzzled, it dawned on me that we had a prenup. Xander had insisted that I was entitled to half of his business if he cheated, something I had overlooked in my emotional turmoil. It made sense why Xander wanted to prolong the divorce. He hoped I would give up my rightful share. Determined not to let go of what was rightfully mine, I immediately called his lawyer and set up an appointment. Within 2 days, I moved out of Xander's house and into my childhood home, which was in my name. I texted Xander that I had already moved my belongings, asserting, "I took my ugly face and body out of your Dan house. Good that you've come to your senses and not making a fuss." Xander responded, boasting about his lawyer's reputation, but I calmly warned him, "I won't give you my business, that's for sure. For now, you will stay away from me." Determined to uphold the prenup, I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. "I don't want to talk to you. You can only speak to me through my lawyers now, and I expect you to empty my house." Xander's words ignited a surge of boiling rage within me. It's astonishing how anger and hatred can fuel one's determination when faced with such utter contempt. My mind cleared, and I couldn't help but almost laugh at Xander's ignorance. He had no clue who he was up against. Doubtful that his lawyer, Jake, knew either, I arranged a meeting with him at a cafe. Upon seeing me, Jake began to visibly tremble, only calming down upon recognizing me. He seemed confident, but not enough. Jake was a decent lawyer, but he hadn't anticipated facing off against someone like me. Xander never considered me influential, so Jake was utterly unprepared for our encounter. Jake appeared nervous and his hands shook, but I refrained from further intimidation. He wasn't to blame for my predicament. "Hello, Jake. Nice to see you here," I greeted, noticing his surprise. "If you have any doubts, let me clear them for you. Yes, I am the wife." "Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting you to show up," Jake stammered, flustered by my presence. "The surnames don't match because I got married after I received my law degree. I used my maiden name for official purposes," I explained. "Ah, I see," Jake muttered, visibly uncomfortable. "So I'm guessing you want to drag out this case. That's what my client has told me." "Your client has been misleading you, Jake. He's the one who wants to prolong this case. Isn't that what he told you?" I confronted him directly, knowing my reputation as a lawyer spoke volumes. Jake squirmed under my scrutiny. Accustomed to asking the right questions, I didn't mince words. "You don't have to answer that, Jake. I've known Xander for over a decade. I married that idiot for God's sake. I know what goes through his thick head." Concerned for Jake's predicament, I decided to enlighten him. "Since I know you, and it's not fair on you, I'll tell you the truth about this divorce." "What do you mean, ma'am?" Jake inquired, clearly taken aback. "Did my dear husband mention to you that he cheated on me?" I asked pointedly, watching Jake's expression for confirmation. His reaction spoke volumes, confirming my suspicions. Once again, Jake was caught off guard by my revelation. I won't lie to you guys. It did sting and hurt my ego to admit to my colleague that I had been cheated on. It's not a pleasant experience. However, I knew better than to betray my emotions. No matter how humiliated I felt, I still had the upper hand, and I was well aware of that. Jay, on the other hand, didn't know. He said, No, I don't think my client has told me about that. But he did warn me that, in his words, you would make some baseless accusations because you want to ruin him. Oh, you poor thing, Jake. Your client has played you like a fiddle. Although it might make you happy to know that Xander thinks you are one of the best lawyers out there. Well, that's a big compliment, but I will never measure up to you, ma'am, Jake confessed. I wish he had told me that his wife also practices law. He only told me that you work at a law firm. My husband never really took my accomplishments seriously. He had a habit of undermining my work and influence. It was foolish of me to stay with him this long. However, it was smart of me to sign the prenup to save my butt, I shared. Jake was completely taken aback by the mention of the word prenup. He looked shocked, and the term seemed foreign to him. I didn't need to be a rocket scientist to know that he had been ambushed again. Xander had conveniently forgotten to mention the prenup to Jake, perhaps hoping I had forgotten about it. Well, who knows? It didn't matter. Since the word of the prenup was out there, Jake was frazzled. There's a prenup in this marriage? Your husband hadn't mentioned that. Do you have any proof, ma'am? Jake inquired. Oh, I do have plenty of proof, Jake. I brought the papers along. I had a feeling that Xander would try to get out of dealing with the consequences of his actions. Well, not on my watch. I would really like to see the papers, ma'am. Also, I think I would need to see proof of his affair if you have any. Don't worry, Jake. I brought along everything. Like I said, it isn't me who wants to drag out this divorce. The sooner it happens, the better it is for me. I handed over all the evidence to Jake, from messages to pictures and documents. I had all the proof right in my handbag, casually giving them to Jake, knowing that the case would always go in my favor. Jake studied each and every document thoroughly before signing and looking rather defeated. He then looked at me and said, I see that you have solid proof of everything, ma'am. I had no idea about all of these things. I figured that out, Jake. Also, I know how difficult it is to work with unreliable clients, especially when the opposite party has an equally strong lawyer for their case. You're right about that, ma'am. I think that's all I needed to talk about today. I believe I need to have a serious conversation with my client before I decide to proceed with his case. I'm sure someone will contact you soon, although I can't say that it will be me. I could tell what Jake was hinting at but didn't comment on it. I thanked him for his time and proceeded to walk out of the cafe. I went straight to work and started to prepare my own documents for the divorce. All the lingering sadness was gone. Now, there was this rage within me that was driving me to make sure Xander suffered for what he had done, and I knew he had no way out of this mess he had created. It took Xander one day to get back to me. He called me on my number despite telling me not to contact him directly. It was funny but not surprising. I knew he would find himself in this situation. When I answered his call, he sounded very pissed off. What the hell did you say to my lawyer, Sophia? My, look who's calling after telling me to stay away. Now what happened with your lawyer, Xander? Stop playing around, Sophia. Tell me what you told him that made him quit today. Your lawyer quit today? How sad, Xander. I guess you should have been upfront about your situation and who they would be fighting against. You don't know what you're saying? You are a freaking nobody. I won't let you take away my family business. Oh, I would like to see you try, Xander. I will hire a better lawyer and doubt you. Just wait and watch. I will destroy you in court. You will come to me begging for mercy. Well, sounds like a plan, Xander. Good luck with that. But a word of advice from a lawyer. Remember to tell your new lawyer about your affair and the prenup. When I said that, Xander simply hung up on me. It made me chuckle. He was in deep trouble but still didn't know it. He would try every lawyer in town and see if anyone would represent him. I am a known name here, so people knew not to mess with me. Plus, anyone stupid enough to believe his lies would be dragged down to reality when I presented them with my ammo. Sanders said that he would make me beg for mercy. I knew that it would be a matter of time before he would come begging at my door. I was right in thinking that Xander would be back, begging at my door. He literally had no other choice. One fine morning, while I was getting ready for work, there was a knock at my door. I was a little confused about who showed up at such an odd time. Imagine my surprise when I opened the door and found my soon-to-be ex-husband, looking forlorn and weary. I invited him in because I didn't want the scene outside my home. I was already dealing with enough. When he came inside, I said, "Make it quick, Xander. I don't have enough time to waste on you. I don't even know why you're here. We were supposed to strictly communicate through lawyers only." "Yeah, about that. I haven't found a good divorce lawyer yet." "Oh, that's sad for you, Xander. You better hurry up because I hear that your mistress has been dying to marry you." "I'm not worried about her anymore." "Listen, Sophia, we need to talk. You have been sabotaging my lawyer so that they wouldn't take my case. That is very unfair." I immediately laughed when he said that. I couldn't believe that Xander would have the audacity to pin the entire blame on me. This once again showed how little he valued my profession. He thought that just because he was willing to throw money, people would pull at his feet. Oh dear, that's an amazing joke, Xander. Let me just clear that misconception for you. I haven't been sabotaging anything. It's your stupidity that's causing trouble. I don't understand. What did I even do? Should I remind you how you lied to your lawyers about the affair and the prenup? That is enough to make them look like fools in court. Do you think lawyers would jump at representing unreliable clients like you? Besides, I will admit that my name will make a lot of people walk away. You may consider me to be useless, but I actually do have a good name in this profession. Yes, I know that now, Sophia. I've tried being open with lawyers too, but none of them are willing to help me. That's what happens when you try to go against an ironclad prenup. You really should have thought your affair through, Xander. Not that it matters now. The damage is done. No sane lawyer would fight for your cause. You'll be giving me half of your business. Xander's facial expression said it all. He didn't want to lose his business. I mean, that's why he tried to pick a good lawyer and drag out the divorce. He wanted to keep me hanging long enough until I would snap and just leave him alone without demanding half of his company. After a few days, it became clear to him that no one would take his side. Hell, he was even finding it hard to find any lawyer who would go against me. So, he did what he thought was his last resort. He started to cry and beg. "Sophia, you know how much this business means to me. Please don't do this. You can take everything else, but please don't ask to split the business." "Why not, Xander? You were the one who put in the clause of splitting the business in case you cheated. You think I will give up my rights that easily? I deserve it after the betrayal you threw in my face. It was all a mistake, Sophia, believe me. I have actually put my relationship on hold because I know what a big mistake it was. Maybe, just maybe, we can give this marriage a try. I can say for sure that this hurdle will only make us stronger." Xander's words made me laugh out loud again. The audacity of this man was unmatched by anyone I knew. I really didn't know what to say. He was actually asking to get back together, as if I would be stupid enough to do that. I did know that he had put a pause on his relationship with his mistress. The rumors were out that the mistress was not happy, and neither was Xander. But if he thinks this will make me go back to him, he is dead wrong. I already made the mistake of marrying a piece of and learned my lesson the hard way. Plus, I knew why he was suddenly desperate to get me back. You must be delusional for suggesting something like that, Xander. I didn't come this far in life by being utterly stupid. I know that you want to get back to me because you don't want to split your business. Sophia, we were happy together. Let's just look past this one time and restart our marriage. I will cut off my mistress. I swear there's no reason to do that, Xander. Believe me, that woman is going to start running once she finds out that you won't be very rich after the divorce. As for me, This is my golden chance to get out of this sham of a marriage. I must thank you for showing your true colors before we had kids. Now you will reap what you have sown." With that, I was pretty much done with my piece. I immediately stopped talking while Xander kept begging and pleading with me not to take his business. It was a rather pathetic scene, but it didn't move me at all. Instead, it made me think of the times I went to bed crying because this piece of expletive I call my husband decided to betray me. Seeing Xander in a vulnerable place only gave me satisfaction and completed my revenge. Now, I simply needed a clean break to start fresh. Well, I definitely got more than what I had bargained for. Karma hit Xander hard and fast. He tried for weeks to change my mind and make me come back home. I turned a blind eye to everything simply because I wasn't interested in his drama. I was ready to move on. Since he had filed for divorce already, I hired someone from my firm to represent me. I'm not a divorce lawyer, so I couldn't do it myself. Besides, I wanted as minimum interaction with him as possible. After a month of trying to change my mind, he was forced to get a lawyer and ask for a clean break. He knew that if I took the case to court, he would only face humiliation and ultimately waste money on lawyers appointed by the court. So he receded and asked for a mutual split. The prenup made it super easy for me to get the divorce. Of course, I had plenty of proof to show everyone that Xander cheated. As per the prenup, he was supposed to give up half of his business to me. He wasn't happy. But there was no way out, so he signed over half of it to me. We did give him an offer to buy me out, but he had no money. Now, why would a big business owner like Xander have no money, you ask? Well, he had spent it all on his mistress, who is now not taking his calls or texts. I guess she figured out that he won't be rich anymore. But now, no one is willing to date her because they know what a gold digger she is. What goes around comes around, I guess. Well, the mistress was the least of Xander's troubles. With half of his business gone, his earnings were severely reduced. He had to sell his house because he didn't have much money to maintain it or even pay the mortgage properly. He's currently renting a condo that is a serious downgrade from the big mansion he stayed at. He did try to get back with me again in the hopes of regaining full control of his business. Well, safe to say that is never happening. He now either has to continue the way it is or manage to save enough money to buy me out. If you want to know about me, I'm actually doing pretty well. I have appointed someone to take care of my share of Xander's business, and so far, things have been amazing. I ended up upgrading my lifestyle by buying a new mansion due to my combined income from law practice and business. Things are going well. I'm living my best life, and I honestly couldn't be happier. All in all, the divorce played out well for me. Instead of getting played by my ex-husband and his mistress, I ended up ruining their lives and bettering mine.